Hi everybody, Vivek, Patel here from Meaningful Ideas, talking about conscious parenting. And I wanted to share some ideas that I've recently been talking about with some parents about kids who steal. And it's really such a common thing to happen. It's amazing to me. I would never have known it, but working with so many parents over the years, I've seen certain trends, which I never would have known without doing that. And one of them is that a lot of kids steal and lie. And maybe it doesn't seem like a surprise, but it's an overwhelming number. And parents always want to help their kids learn not to steal, which makes sense, because it's not a good path to go down. I myself in my youth did a lot of stealing, and it started when I was like 6 years old, or 7 years old. And it caught hold of me, and I couldn't stop until I was like in my mid-teens. And so I know what it feels like. And I also know that nobody ever really was able to connect with me around it, or offer me real guidance around it, non-judgmental guidance. Because judgmental guidance just made me want to run. I didn't want to listen to anybody. What I ask parents to do is think about, why is it that stealing is wrong? Usually when I ask that question, the answer is because you're taking something that doesn't belong to you. Well, the thing is, that's not actually explaining why it's wrong or why it's something to avoid. That just is kind of the definition of stealing. So after we do some processing and really thinking about it, usually we come up with some version of because it hurts other people, because it doesn't respect them, because it doesn't make them feel good, and it can damage relationships, and it can damage trust in a community, and all these beautiful, really heartfelt things that all center around love and respect, which makes sense to me. And the thing is, if we don't have that clear understanding in our heads, first of all, of why we don't want our kids to steal, like really why, just saying it's wrong doesn't really teach anybody anything. And if we don't have that clear understanding, then we can't actually teach that to our kids. And so what are we teaching? We're just teaching them to feel bad about it. Because that's what sort of like a punitive approach to stopping kids from stealing does. And the thing is, if we punish our kids or yell at our kids or give them a consequence, like you have to pay it back, or some parents are like, I'm going to sell the Xbox to make you pay back the money, or at the very least telling them, look, stealing hurts other people, it's wrong. And the thing about all of those approaches is they make the kid feel bad. We're making the kid feel bad using those approaches. And if our goal is to teach them that we want them to help other people feel good and respected and loved in the community, and then we ourselves make them feel bad, there's like a fundamental contradiction there. So when we're teaching something like why not to steal, we cannot punish, we cannot yell, we cannot give consequences, we can't. And the reason is because of that contradiction. Clearly trying to make someone else feel bad, hoping it'll inspire them to want to make others feel good, doesn't make a lot of sense. I think you can see that. Okay. Well, here's the second thing. The second thing is that when we're working with something like this with kids, what we're trying to do is get them to establish their own value system. Because just having the idea stealing is wrong doesn't really touch the heart, doesn't really give us a value system that can expand into other areas of their lives. And that's why if we try and impose our value system on our kids, we're kind of losing that. We're losing the opportunity to help them find their own value system. The only way that we can help kids find their own value system is in an atmosphere of acceptance and freedom. Because if they're trying to avoid punishment, then that's going to be their motivation. And then their whole sense of decision making about what makes sense to do, what doesn't make sense to do, what's right, what's wrong, that whole decision making that they do is going to be centered around avoiding the pain of punishment or disappointment or judgment even. And kids can feel our judgment. So if we can instead create an atmosphere of acceptance and embracing the situation, and you say, how can I embrace them stealing? But the fact is, we're all human, and we're all going to make mistakes, and we're all going to have impulses that don't necessarily fit in with the well-being of the community. If we can learn to have the well-being of the community, all of the parts of the community, if we can learn to have that well-being as a priority for us in our lives, then we automatically will want to start thinking about what makes the most sense in that respect. But if we're avoiding some kind of punishment, some kind of bad feeling, we're not really thinking of the community, we're thinking of ourselves. And that's why freedom is so important. Because if we're guiding these young people into learning that about themselves, they have to be able to go inside in a complete free state and think, what makes sense to me? Not what is going to get me not in trouble, but what makes sense to me? What makes sense? What's loving? What's appropriate? What do I care about other people? How do they learn to care about other people if their experience is feeling like they're not being cared for? And no matter how much you love somebody when you punish them, that is not their experience. And that's what really counts, is what their experience is. And so, like for both of these reasons, when your kids do something like stealing or lying, and we tell them it's wrong and we punish them for it, whether it's an emotional punishment or a material punishment or a spiritual punishment or a mental punishment, like we can punish in so many different ways. Anytime we try and make someone feel worse, hoping that that's going to inspire them to behave better, it's a punishment. And if we can give that up and instead go deeper inside into a longer term but deeper process of communication and collaboration and investigation, it makes such a difference. And it makes a difference in your relationship too. Because then your kids will feel so much more comfortable coming to you with difficult things, because they know they're not going to get judged. And they know that you're just going to process it with them and help them learn from it. And oh, what a beautiful feeling of safety and comfort and joy, knowing that your parents are your learning partners and that you don't have to be afraid of them. So, my name is Vivek Patel. I talk about conscious parenting. Would love it if you subscribe to my social media. I'm Meaningful Ideas on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. And that's it. Thank you so much.